Hey everybody, this is hwsteele. Today is August 10th, 2022, which makes this the second weekly video for the month of August and the second video of the series of 5 videos I'm doing where I talk about using lines on the chart to help us anticipate what might be happening in the future. This particular video in that series is probably going to be the simplest. It's going to take the least to explain, and it would take probably the least to actually use. It's something that's so simple that I think a lot of people forget to use it. And let me tell you what I'm talking about. This is Tesla, the daily chart here. I am going to go back in time to right around here. Now, we're going to put one line on the chart. Tesla moved up, made all-time highs, had the all-time high right here, and we're just going to slap a line, horizontal line on the chart right about there. And we see the Tesla traded sideways for a number of years here. Almost hit the high there, didn't quite get it. Lower there, lower again there, but makes another high there, and finally almost gets it right there. And then right here, we break above into a new all-time high. And what happens is the market comes, retraces back, tests it right there, and then takes off. How far does it go? Well, it goes, if we double this distance right here, we see that we moved at least that far, a little bit past it. If we consider this line right here, let me delete this so I can show you, moving this horizontal line to right here and measuring this, we see that this low right here, doubled up there, is really close to how high the market got. In other words, just a quick little measurement here of what happened right before it made the breakout is a good indication of what we can at least expect that much of a movement for after the breakout. Kind of a balancing of the market at the breakout point right there. And we see here in Tesla that once it broke out to new highs, we got a bunch of sideways movement again for years, in fact. We made a slightly higher top there, came about even with it here, but the point is that, let me zoom in a little bit. When we broke to new all-time highs right here, we moved up, we came down, tested it. It was significantly off this low right here, and then it just shot up right there a lot, obviously. And that went significantly further than double from, just taking this and putting it on top of here, or even all the way from this low up here, doubling it. But the point is, once it broke into all-time new highs, it moved up significantly. And then same thing happened here. All-time new highs right here. We had a consolidation right there, and then we took off and moved to the upside. This is not something that's hard to apply. This is not something that's hard to find. It's something extremely simple, but it's very powerful usually. So this is Tesla, and I'm not going to keep going with Tesla. Let's look at, I think Netflix is a good one. Netflix, we had some lows. Let's see here. Yeah, we had lows in Netflix, then we broke to all-time new highs, found support and resistance, and then moved significantly higher. Same thing happened right here, all-time new high, broke right there, little consolidation happened, and then we moved up significantly higher. Wasn't as dramatically much higher as it was previously, but we still moved up for a number of months right there. Then we moved sideways, broke into new territory right here, all-time new highs, and moved up significantly higher again and again and again, so forth, so on. The point is that paying attention to previous all-time highs and when the market breaks above them, and obviously this isn't something that happens every single day in a bunch of, in every single stock. This is a once every few years kind of thing, but it's something that's very, very good to pay attention to, because once you get confirmation of that high being broken and then finding support and then moving up from there, you're going to move up for a ways. And we can do the same thing to the downside, but it's going to be a little bit differently. Or it's going to be done a little bit differently. Obviously, we can continue to move up to the upside for any amount of price because, we can go as high as we want to. But to go to the downside, we won't necessarily be making new all-time lows because you can only go so low in price, and after that, well, you're bankrupt. You know, obviously you can't go any lower. So when you're looking at the lows, you're going to be looking typically at support levels that have been more recent, and when you break below those, you're going to move down. And if you get, like for instance right here, we have much older support level right there, and we break below that, but we haven't just crashed below it. And the reason is there's not a whole lot more space or price movement to go down from here. We've already come down from a high of around $700 all the way down to what? Let's see, the low here of 164. So even though we broke below older support right there, we don't necessarily expect it to move down as far, because this is not always the same as, or the exact opposite I should say, as when we move higher. When we move into all-time new high price territory, we can expect it to move for quite a ways. When we're moving to new lows, or at least new recent lows, obviously we only have so far to move. But the point is still there. Pay attention to old support and resistance, especially the all-time highs. And if you do happen to break into all-time lows, for an older stock where it's split several times, that's going to be pretty hard. But for a stock that has not yet split, that's entirely possible that you could hit new all-time lows. So anyway, that's about the size of it right here. This is not a hard concept to understand, so it's not taking very long to explain, but it's something that gets overlooked quite a bit, especially by those folks out there who really like to get into anticipating the future. Lots of mathematics, lots of geometry, all kinds of different methodologies. Sometimes we get a little bit too in-depth and we make things a little bit too complicated when there's things like this that are very easy and pretty darn powerful. We just have to be patient enough to wait for them. So anyway, that's the end of this video, and I will talk to you next week with the third installment of the Lines on the Chart Helping Us Anticipate the Future series.